Hey guys, Geno Zero here again. This is how I'm doing my snake skin. I guess you can call it tanning or drying or whatever. Now keep in mind, I am not a snake skin tanner professional dude or whatever. I'm just a dude. This is how I do it, and it seems to work for me. So let me show you what I've done. Sorry I missed the first step yesterday, or whenever the day that I skinned the snake. If you remember, I stapled it to a plank as I was skinning it. So what I did after I stapled it to the plank, let me get my camera set up here. I stapled it to that plank right here, and I coated it with a pretty good thick coat of salt, and I dried it out, and I dried it for a whole day, 24 hours. Then I scraped all the salt off of it, and I put it in this tub here, which has got about, I don't know, a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons of vinegar and salt water, just to give the skin a really good, thorough clean, and a good thorough soak. So, and I soaked it in this vinegar salt water for 24 hours. Now what I'm going to do is re-staple it to the plank here to dry it again, so we can get it good and dry. And then what we're going to do is get us a real nice board, a real nice oak plank or something that looks really pretty, and we will staple it with the facing up. This is kind of the inside of the skin right here. This is the inside. Whenever we put it on our good plank, we'll put the pretty side out. But for drying purposes right now, we're going to do it this way. Put it back onto the plank here, stretch it out a little bit because it has shrunk up a little bit. And you got to be kind of careful because it's really thin. Snake skin is not like it's not like drying and tanning a nice big thick winter coon skin or something. It's pretty thin stuff, so you want to kind of be careful with it, or you'll tear it, and you don't want to tear it, because then you'll have a torn snake skin, I guess. So I got on this plank here, and now we're just going to go through and give it a staple every so often to kind of stretch it out. Like I said, I'm sure there's some old bushcraft dude out there who's going to say you're doing it wrong. Well, that's okay. This is how I do it, and we'll see the results as I go along here. Of course, there's always somebody out there who says you're doing something wrong. That's all right. I can take it. Just give it a little stretching. Now these staples come right out of this. This is just a pine plank. It's just pine, real soft pine wood. And the staples that I use pull right out of it. So I'm not worried about damaging the skin when I pull it back off. And there may be an easier way to do this, and I'm sure that there probably is. But this is, like I say, this is how I do it. Alright, so now we got our skin stapled to the plank. We're going to leave it set out in the sun and let it dry out again. And once we have it all good and dried, then we'll go to the next step. So we'll catch up with you whenever we get to that step. Okay guys, we're going to start taking the staples out of this snake skin. It's been out here drying in the sun for about 2 days. Not sure that it needed 2 days, but I just wasn't able to get back to it yesterday. I got busy. So we're going to pull these staples out. Like I said, you want to be real careful. The snake skin is really thin, and I don't want to damage it any more than I can avoid. And I've already, of course, pulled a bunch of them out before I turned the camera on. Let's flip it over and have a look. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. Looks good. Going to clean it up. That vinegar, soaking it in that vinegar really helped clean it. Get all the dirt and stuff in between the scales. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to just give it a good rubbing and get any kind of loose stuff off of it, out of my coffee. And I'm going to roll it up. And I found this really cool old oak plank out there in the wood pile. This is one of the ones that my buddy Mr. Moving On Greg brought over for me that they got from a really old house that they was tearing down and remodeling. And we don't waste wood. These are really good solid oak planks. And Greg's just like me. We're not into wasting stuff business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this board up and give it a quick sanding. And then we're going to mount the snake skin to this board as a display, as a trophy, so to speak. So, all right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take this snake skin and rub on it a little bit, get all that loose stuff, all those loose scales, all that stuff that's not going to be attached, get it off of there. Any of those old dead scales, there should be pretty scales underneath it, especially if the snake is about to molt. Then you can really see the difference in the color of the snake skin after it molts. But anywho, I'm going to rub it down for a little bit and get all these little loose scales and stuff off of them. And then I'm just going to roll it up into a little ball. Kind of give it another roll it like this, just to give it a little bit of more working, like you would with any other hide. Just kind of work it where it's loose. And I'm going to just set it aside until I get done with my plank, and then we'll start mounting it from there. So I'll get back with you whenever we get ready to mount it. Like I said, this old plank, I'm just going to sand it down, and I'm not going to bore you guys with sanding, because hopefully everybody knows how to sand a board. So we'll be back. Alright guys, I got my the old oak plank sanded down. Don't know how well you're going to be able to see it or not, but it's still got these really cool old sawmill marks in it. And it just looks really cool. So now what I'm going to do, just to kind of make it even look a little more rustic, is I'm going to take my little torch here, just your regular old propane torch. I'm going to go around the edges of it like this and just kind of scorch the edges of the board, just to give it a little more color, a little more rustic look. You know, I'm trying to do this one-handed, so bear with me. Just scorching it. It'll give that board a little bit of I think it looks pretty cool with that snake skin in the middle of it. So let me finish doing this so I don't screw something up when I'm trying to hold the camera, but that's what I'm going to do, and I'll let you see it when it's all done. Alrighty, there's our oak plank that's been scorched, and now we'll just take and mount the snake skin right in here. I'm just going to use some glue. I'm probably just going to use some spray adhesive glue. I just want to tack the skin down for now, because once I get it all tacked on there and it dries out real good, then we're going to put polyurethane over the whole thing to seal it all in, and it'll seal it, and hopefully it'll make it last. So there's a look at the board. Alrighty, we got the board ready here. I got my snake on there. I think that's exactly where I want to mount it at. So now I'm just going to take a regular old can of spray adhesive here and start tacking it down on there. If you would be so kind as to hold that, thank you. We'll start at one end. There we go. And tack it down. And just work our way down the whole skin. Now I got a little tear in here, so I want to make sure that I get that tear put back together as best as I can. Right there. Like I say, we're just tacking it on here for now. We're not doing anything else other than just tacking it. Because there's going to be a coat of polyurethane that goes over the whole thing. That's going to be used to seal it all in and seal it all up real good. glue on the hands here. So there we go. We've got it just tacked. Now we're going to let it sit out here in the sun and dry for a little bit. And then whenever I get ready to put the urethane on there and actually mount it down there for good, we'll turn the camera back on so you can see that. It's just going to be brushing on some polyurethane and sealing it all in, and hopefully we'll get a few years of prettiness out of it. So we'll be back. Okay guys, we got our skin here. Like I said, I put some spray adhesive on it, tacked it down to this plank. Now I'm just going to take some polyurethane here on my paintbrush, and we're just going to spread it on. It's probably going to take probably a good 3 or 4 coats of this to really get it a good seal and seal that skin on there and make everything nice and shiny and pretty. So I'm going to go through and put a good thick coat of polyurethane over this, just like this, over the whole thing. Just like you would do with any other woodworking project. Now, like I say, I'm not an expert by any means in anything. I'm not quite sure if this polyurethane will harm the skin any, but I can't imagine that it will. I think it's just going to seal it all up and keep the weather from getting to it as much as I can anyway. And my urethane is kind of old. It's starting to gel up. It's about time to replace it. But I think it'll serve the purpose for what we got going on here. So like I say, let me get this coated here. This is all I'm going to do, just brush on a few coats. Probably going to do 3 coats at least. I'll let you know whenever I get done how many coats that took and how many that I used to make it look nice. And I'll let you all know what's going on and show you the finished product when we get done. So I'll be back with you directly. Alright y'all, well, there we go. It looks like it's the finished product right there. That's the 3rd coat. It should be finished drying here real soon. I think it come out really nice. Ready to hang on the wall. From dinner to decoration. You gotta love it. Gotta love the hills. Alright y'all. Thanks for watching. Questions or comments, feel free. I hope you like it. Y'all have a great day. God bless in the end. Buzz, buzz, the end.